Hello again everyone, Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be dissertating and talking about the ruler of the 12th house posited in the 7th house in a natal horoscope. Well, as most of you know, the 12th house is connected with restrictions, limitations, secrets, solitude, seclusion, hidden adversaries or enemies, the self-undoing. Now we look at the 7th house, it's connected with partnerships, often business partners, marriage partners, significant other, the spouse, legalities, documents, open enemies, the way we negotiate with others. Now, anyway, we started the first thing. I think one obvious conclusion is that this person might experience some kind of restrictions or limitations that are associated with 7th house matters, which can be the significant other, the spouse. We can look at it, legalities. There might be some problems that are connected with that, being able to resolve matters with open adversaries or enemies. Negotiation, this person may attempt to reconcile certain things and might have difficulty in doing so, trying to find compromise. There might be some loss that's connected with litigation, that's connected with open adversaries or enemies. In some isolated cases, I would say, especially if the ruler has predominantly negative aspects, it could indicate perhaps an abrupt loss of a marriage partner, not necessarily through death, but perhaps a quicker divorce than maybe what was anticipated. But I'm not going to say it excludes death or an early demise in some isolated cases. We look at this. Then the 12th house is connected with hospitals and prisons as well, and this could be something where perhaps the hospital or prison somewhere along the line this person might meet what eventually becomes perhaps a significant other, or maybe an experience in one or both of these places somehow impacts the relationship or the kind of partner that this person looks for. We look at this as well, that since the 12th house corresponds with Pisces, we could see perhaps the compassionate and philanthropic side may come out through relationships, whether it's with a significant other or other relationships, somehow perhaps even in legalities. Maybe this person shows a more merciful side, and for example, maybe not the best example maybe, but maybe perhaps, for example, sues for a little less money than he or she really should in a lawsuit thing, for example, or just compassion in legal matters in general. Maybe in some instances this person maybe chooses not to bring the person to court, or less likelihood of that with this position in a situation where it would seem more probable that this person should litigate, and maybe often chooses not to in a lot of situations. We look at this placement as well, and the 12th house is connected with solitude and seclusion, and it could be possible that maybe this solitude, seclusion can impact relationships to some degree, whether it's business, marital partner, significant other, and perhaps even friends, acquaintances, people that have formed certain relationships with. Maybe this person emphasizes relationships, for example, on the internet. Maybe a lot of IMing, talking on the phone, things in the privacy, say, in their home, in their sanctuary, or maybe they're just simply maybe seclusion and solitude can impact it in a negative manner, or maybe the person likes to emphasize time alone in doing so. Maybe that could impact the relationships with others, and maybe this person spends less time in connection with partnerships, relationships than the average person because of this. So This is another thing where we look at the 12th house, and it's possible maybe this person brings the metaphysical, compassionate, philanthropic side of his or her nature into relationships, into partnerships. Perhaps the compassionate side or philanthropic side affects the situation, perhaps with any open enemies. Maybe this person is more merciful in connection with their open enemies or adversaries. The 12th house, interestingly enough, governs hidden adversaries or enemies, and then we have the 7th house is open. So I guess in some cases it could be possible that the hidden ones somehow impact the situation the person has with the open ones, maybe brings the open ones out even more so, or maybe somehow in some isolated cases maybe there's some collaboration with the hidden and the open ones, or the hidden maybe does something to make the situation worse for the person with the open adversaries or enemies. But anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for the ruler of the 12th house and the 7th house in the natal horoscope. Stay tuned next time, where I'll be dissertating and talking about the ruler of the 12th house and the 8th house in a natal chart. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis on a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because a person astrologically is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.